What is the difference between top speed and cruising speed? When you want to buy a motorcycle, which one should be more of a concern to you? The top speed or the cruising speed? Let's have this discussion. Welcome back to Two Wheels Paradise. My name is Meshak as usual, and today we have a discussion that has been really pushed by my viewers on YouTube and Facebook. The question of the difference between cruising speed and top speed. You have seen, I'm very sure, if you follow the online marketplaces, when someone posts a motorcycle on sale, the first question is always, how fast can that bike go? How fast? Some people are referring to top speed, others are referring to cruising speed. There are two different speeds here, and today I want us to have this very clear. The difference between cruising speed and top speed, and which one should be a concern to you when you want to buy a motorcycle. Also, which one is safer for you as a rider when you are on the highway. My name is Meshak as usual. Remember to hit the subscribe button down there. It makes a lot of sense to me. Also the like button, please give it a thumbs up if you like this video. It helps us, the YouTubers, to grow our channels. That one like you hit makes a lot of sense. Maybe you never knew, but now you know. Let's get down to business. A motorcycle like the one I have here has something we call dashboard. Dashboard is the console where all the information about that motorcycle is displayed for you as a rider. The dashboard. Even the vehicles have them. Dashboard. Could be a digital one for the advanced ones. Could be the analog with clocks that move, physical clocks. Whatever it is, you have a dashboard. And one of the items that the dashboard will display for you is speed. Some bikes have the RPMs, the revolutions per minute. Others have other stuff, but speed is a must. If you have a dashboard, you must be able to see the speed your motorcycle is moving. Also, for the old ones, like mine here, that have the physical clocks that move, is calibrated from 0 to some number at the top. That number at the top is the top speed. Some bikes have the capacity to achieve whatever is written there. Others are just written there to entice you, but in reality, that motorcycle can not get there. Mine is calibrated up to 170. 170. From 0 to 170 kilometers per hour. And this bike can go to 170. It can go to 170. Most of the bikes are supposed to go there because whoever designed that knew exactly what they were doing. But for the new Chinese motorcycles, some manufacturers are playing games. They write 220 there for a 250cc motorcycle. Definitely you know you can't even do 150. But they have given you up to 200 just to entice you to purchase that bike. Forget it. Top speed, in simple language, is the highest speed possible that motorcycle can go before things go extremely wrong. Let me repeat that slowly. Top speed is the highest speed you can achieve before everything goes wrong. Before everything goes wrong. As motorcycles get older, for instance, this one is 26, 27 years old, top speed that the bike can achieve in reality, not what is written, in reality on the ground, keeps going down because of so many different aspects. So many different aspects. Wear and tear. definitely. So if this one was 170 in the 90s, I'm very sure it can do 160 maybe maximum. I don't even have time to try that because it is not even necessary. And that's the reason why we have this discussion. Top speed. It is the highest achievable speed before things become a disaster. Why do I say disaster? Because anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong at that speed. Anything and everything can go wrong when you are riding at top speed. Top speed should be the scariest thing in a motorcycle. Never ever in your life, never in your life, try to achieve top speed. Never. Because when you sit on the top speed, full open throttle, anything can go wrong. And if something small goes wrong, you have very high chances you're not going back home that day. And many of the instances where bikers die, they die at top speed. Go and do your research. Top speed. When your motorcycle is on open throttle, full open throttle, chances of you panic braking are so high. If anything crosses in front of you, you don't even know anything else rather than hard brake, skid braking. You cannot swerve to avoid anything. You cannot slow down in a somber way to avoid something. All what comes to your head is panic braking. Panic braking. That is going to be the rider error that will kill you. When you are on top speed, you're not thinking straight. You're not thinking straight. If you want to try, just go out there and try. You'll see. If you want to try, go out there and try. But don't say I sent you. I never sent you. I've just told you in black and white, never ever in your life try to achieve top speed. Whether your motorcycle is 100cc with a top speed of 90 kilometers an hour, never ever try to do 90. Because that 90 is not safe. Your engine can break into pieces. Something can snap open at that speed. Anything can go wrong at that speed. Anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong at that speed. So, from me, top speed is not something you want to try. Forget about it. You know your bike can do 200, let it remain in the books 200. Just do something smaller than, because at that point, anything can go wrong. You're going to damage the bike. Very, very high chances that you're going to damage that bike. Very, very high chances you will damage that bike. Second, you have zero safety at that point. Zero safety. You are tucked in so hard. You are so hard on the throttle. Your body is so tense. You're trying to achieve the highest possible speed. If anything goes wrong and requires you to act otherwise, trust me, you will not. You will not. I see people asking about these questions. What is the top speed for this? What is the top speed for? What is the top speed? Forget about the top speed, my friend. Forget about it. I want to introduce what you should be thinking about in a minute. Forget about top speed, forget about it completely. Because at top speed, anything can go wrong. And if anything goes wrong at top speed, you can trust me, you're not going back home. It's going to be fatal. You're not going back home. Something small can change. You will not be able to control that bike at that speed. It doesn't matter whether your top speed is 70 kilometers an hour for that bike. It's a 50cc scooter. If it has a top speed of 80, don't do 80. Don't do 80. Don't. Allow me to introduce to you something we call cruising speed. Cruising speed is the most comfortable speed for you and the bike. Cruising speed is the most comfortable speed for you and the bike. My bike here is a 400cc V-twin, liquid cooled, 6 valve, 4 spark plugs. Did you get that? 2 pistons, 3 valves per piston, 2 spark plugs per piston. It was made in the 90s. It's a very powerful bike for the class of 400cc. A very powerful bike for the 400cc because of those things I've mentioned. Twin spark. It has a top speed from factory of 170 kilometers an hour. But if you take this bike out and you want to ride at 120 kilometers an hour, this bike feels so relaxed. So relaxed. But don't make a mistake of thinking 120 is a small speed. It is not a small speed. It is not. Yes, I know people have bikes that do 300. Talking about 120, that is gear 1 for them. Well, good for you, good for you, good for you. Good for you. 120, 130. This bike will run 130 the whole day. We have another clock on the dashboard called the tachometer. We call it the RPMs in our local language, RPM. They are calibrated from 0, mine is around 10, 10. At the end, there are some few numbers that are written in lead. In that graph, we have some numbers that are in lead. We call it the lead line. Red line. You should never at any point get to that level. And for you to achieve top speed that we have just discussed, you must be there. Top speed forces you to ride in the lead line, the lead zone, the dangerous zone. They are written in lead because you are not supposed to be there, but if you want, your bike can get there. The manufacturer is just telling you, you can get there if you want, but just be ready for the consequences. Be ready for the consequences, but you can get there. That's what the manufacturer is just telling you. Yes, you can achieve that, but just be ready for whatever is going to happen. So for mine that is reading from 0 to 10, and 9 is where the red line starts. If I am riding at 5, I am in the middle of that clock. My bike does 100 kilometers an hour at 5. And you can really feel that bike is relaxed. Very relaxed. You as a rider, you are not getting tired. The bike is not getting tired. You are not consuming fuel for no reason. If anything goes wrong, you can be able to slow down from there very easily. You don't even need to brake. You just need to downshift. Shift down to 1 gear. The bike is going to control itself. The manufacturer, the engineers knew exactly what they were doing. But if you make a mistake and downshift when you are doing top speed, that bike will kill you. That bike will kill you. If you make a mistake, my bike has 5 gears. This is not a 6 gear, it's a 5 gear. Most bikes from the 90s were 5 speed. This is a 5 speed. Gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the maximum. We don't have gear 6 here. Gear 4 will do around 120, going to 130, when the environment is so good. Then gear 5 will pick from there up to the end of it, up to the dead speed, the top speed. If you're doing 160 here, you see something that requires you to slow down. You make a mistake of thinking you can downshift to gear 4 when you're doing 160. the rear wheel will lock. The gearbox will lock and lock the rear wheel. That is the most dangerous situation you can encounter as a biker, where the engine is actually rocking up. It's actually rocking up. It's like you're driving a vehicle at high speed, then you pull up the hard brake, which locks the rear wheels, but the front wheels are still moving. What do you expect? That is what happens when you're riding at the long speed, especially top speed. There's something called gear ratio. In the sprocket, the gearbox, there's something called gear ratios. You find that gear 1 has some speed it can't go beyond. For mine, around 45 going to 50 feels like the maximum speed gear 1 will go. Then you hit gear 2, 80, 85 going to 90. It's a very comfortable speed for you to pick up from 0 on the highway, and you can actually accelerate or join the highway from some junction. You're going to be safe because by the time the other drivers are getting close to you, you have already hit gear 1, gear 2, you're on gear 3, already 100 kilometers an hour. That's very safe. They will not get so close to you. The gear ratios. Every gear has its maximum speed. So now imagine you are on gear 5 here, doing 160. Gear 4 can only go to 130. You are on 160. Then you make a mistake of downshifting to gear 4. What do you expect it to do? It is going to kill you, my friend. And these are the reasons why we have lost so many bikers. This information is not out there. The gear ratios. But if you're doing 120 on gear 5 here, 120 is within the range of gear 4. Gear 4 can do 120, gear 5 can do 120. So even if you downshift from gear 5 to gear 4, you are still within the safe range. The bike is going to accommodate and slow down. Did you get that? So cruising speed is the most comfortable speed you can do on a motorcycle. And for us who do long distance riding, we don't care about top speed. You'll never find me struggling to achieve higher than the cruising speed that I feel comfortable. Most of the times I do 100, 110, 120 if I want to leave someone. Maybe I have noticed a driver who is not driving properly, or I'm learning to catch up with someone. You'll see me doing 120. Anything beyond there, I don't have business with it. I don't have business with it. Because if I am doing 115 kilometers an hour on a 400cc motorcycle, I can ride from here to Diani without getting tired. But if I struggle and do 160 here, the bike is struggling to maintain that speed. I am struggling to maintain that speed as a rider. I will not go 100 kilometers before I get exhausted. And when you start suffering fatigue, that is when disaster happens. So before you ask the question of the top speed of this bike, the blah, 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 can you get to know what is the most comfortable speed this bike can do? Comfortable speed. That is what I'm calling cruising speed. Cruising speed. Cruising speed. And bikes have different cruising speeds depending on their power rating. For someone on BMW F800 GS, which has a speed of 240 kilometers an hour from factory as the top speed, 240. Maybe it can achieve, maybe not, but 220 definitely GS800 is going to achieve, especially if you don't have the boxes. If you don't have the boxes, you can achieve 220 to 30. Top speed, that is the deadly speed I'm talking about. If anything goes wrong at 230, trust me, that bike is putting you down. Putting you down. You will try those traction control, try those ABS, try everything, but that bike is taking you down. Trust me, it is taking you down. You do not want so much concentration on speed and forget about concentration on the load, concentration on anything, and also forget about the strain you are putting your engine through. the strain you are putting your engine through. So, cruising speed and top speed, two different scenarios. I choose to go with cruising speed. Even if I'm riding 100cc boxer, I know it can achieve 80 kilometers an hour. I'm going to do 70. I'm going to do 70. 70 kph. That is what I choose to do. If I'm riding a Tekken 250 that has a speed of 125 somewhere there, 130 maybe, without the boxes, 130, I choose to do 110. Because at 110, I can slow down to 60 within 3 seconds. You just need to roll off the throttle. Roll off the throttle without even downshifting or anything. Don't even touch the clutch. Roll off the throttle and the bike is going to slow down. Then when the RPMs go down, you can downshift. If you have good skills, like myself, you can do something we call lev mashing. Vroom, then you downshift. Vroom, downshift. If you know how to match the RPMs with downshifting, your riding becomes so smooth. That is a discussion for another day. But for me, that's how I ride. Downshift with lev mashing. You lev the bike a little. Within the lev, you downshift. You can't even feel the strain of downshifting. You can't even feel it. The way you downshift and the bike wants to stop, throw you over the dashboard, you don't feel it. Becomes so smooth, so smooth, so smooth. That's a discussion for another day. If you are on cruising speed, you can do that. But if you are on top speed, the only thing you have is to, first of all, brake so hard for you to reduce the speed to acceptable limits where you can downshift. Okay? You have to, first of all, brake so hard to reduce the bike speed from the dead speed to something like you can accommodate, then start shifting, which is already too late. And again, at that speed, chances of you skidding are so high, especially if you have a bike that doesn't have ABS. You can skid so fast. So fast. If you see a bump, a surprise bump when you're doing cruising speed, you can slow down and navigate the bump. Even if you hit it, you will not hit it in a dangerous way. But if you are on top speed, even if you slow down, try whatever you're going to try, you have already hit the bump. Forget it. Just accept it. You have already hit the bump. That's why a lot of surprises happen. Surprises. For me, when I'm riding, I can ride from here in Nairobi to Eldoret and back without getting into any panic situation. That's around 700 kilometers without any single panic situation. Those people who know me on a personal level, people who have been out with me can testify. I'm a very safe rider. Very safe. I don't get into panic situations. Not because I'm riding on a special way or special highways. I'm riding in between you people, but I don't panic. Why? If I am riding on cruising speed, I can turn my head and look at something, and I'm still going to be straight. I'm going to be straight. At cruising speed, you have the freedom of checking the side mirrors, checking everything while you're riding. You have the freedom to do a lot of things that are contributing to your safety. Check side mirrors, check whatever. Very comfortable. But when you're tucked in at high speed, top speed, you cannot even check side mirrors. For what? And maybe the top speed you're doing is 130 kilometers an hour because your bike is a 150cc. You have a driver who is doing 140 behind you. You need to see that person. You need to see them coming. Because top speed doesn't mean it is the fastest speed on the highway. Some people are cruising at higher speed than you when you're already on dead speed. For instance, let's talk about a bike like Dayun Flasher 200. That bike cannot do more than 120. It can't do more than 120. It is not going to do. Even Jingsheng 250, 200, The fastest they can go is around 125. Around 125. They are designed to do that, 125. Imagine you are pushing it to 125. You are on death speed, the highest achievable. Then behind you there is a Mercedes that is doing 140. You're thinking you are the fastest, but someone is cruising at 140. They have a 6,000cc V12. Yeah, BMW 760. They has a 6,000cc V12 petrol engine. That person is doing 180 and they are cruising comfortably. Actually, they have engaged cruise control. They are not even touching the throttle, the whatever. The vehicle is driving itself. And there you are thinking you are the fastest. Because you are doing 120. You are on the top of everything. You'll get killed. But if you're doing 110 on that bike, you have the freedom to check side mirrors and notice there is someone who is misbehaving. You can change lane, you can... A lot of things that are going to make you safe. So cruising speed and top speed, two different things. Go and cruise. Go and cruise. Top speed, leave it to the clock. Doesn't belong to you. My name is Meshach. Have a good day. See you around. See you next time. God bless you.